Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. I am Dr. Melissa Mann, and this is Musings with Melissa. I have a cold of some kind that I've now had for like longer than I've been sick, and I don't know how long. So that's very annoying. If you're following me in the money party, we are on the last day of our Asking for Greater challenge. And of all the weeks to be having a challenge going on and classes and all sorts of things, of course, I barely have a voice. But I'm doing the best I can. So that's okay. Here we are. How does it get any better than this? And what else is possible now? So I'm hoping that it gets better soon. It's been getting better, actually. Like day by day, it's been getting better. But it's still not great. And so I don't think much about it until I have to talk in front of a camera. And then I'm like, oh yeah, man, my voice really sounds like shit. So I apologize for that. And I wanted to talk to you today about action to create your life. So I called this Taking Action to Create Your Life, and it came from a conversation I had with my son, my almost 9-year-old son, on Tuesday, Monday, I don't know. The days. So days are weird for me anyways, but this week between Christmas and New Year's, forget it. I literally every day I have to be like, wait, what day is it? And I get it wrong half the time. So anyways, so he had a basketball camp this week because he's on break from school and he loves basketball and he has this like team he's been playing on and he's one of the best players on his team, but it's like a little, recreational team. And so he wanted to do this basketball camp that's put on by a club, which is, kind of a higher tier thing. And he went on day one, and it's 3 hours a day, which is a lot for a kid. He's a third grader, my goodness, but it's 3 hours a day for 3 days. So day one, he finishes. I pick him up, and he just fell apart. And he's like, "It's not fun. It sucks. I hate it." And we were kind of looking at like, what was this that was so difficult? And what we got to was that in this arena, he felt like he was not as good as the other players. That all the other kids playing with him had been, doing higher level club things, and so he felt stupid. He felt like he wasn't very good compared to everybody else, and so he wanted to quit. And we said, "Look, you're not quitting. Like we're not quitting. We don't give up. We don't quit. Like you're gonna go the next 2 days, and it's only 3 days, so you have 2 more days. A third of it done. And what if you wouldn't give up on yourself? And what if you weren't going to quit, even if you're not as good as the other players?" So one of the things that he, as most third grade boys who play a sport do, is he wants to be like in the pros, in the big leagues, all the things. And so he was like, "Well, I'm never going to be, in the NBA if I'm not as good as these people." And I said, "Well, you're never going to be in the NBA if you quit. And if you stop now, like none of those things are ever going to be possible because, nobody gave up on basketball in third grade and made it into the NBA. So what can you choose instead?" And so we started talking about like tenacity and like what it really takes in order to create anything in your life, in order to have, if you have a target of, having a business, if you have a target of making a certain amount of money, if you have a target of getting good at any kind of sport, activity, anything, it takes tenacity, it takes work, it takes putting in the time, the effort, and the energy into creating what you'd like to create. And so I looked at like all the places this actually applies to my own life and to people I work with who are trying to grow a business or trying to like have a certain level of financial freedom or something along those lines. And when we start doing something, often when it's not going well or it doesn't come easy for us, we are like, "No, I'm done. I quit. That's it. And this is for somebody else. This isn't for me." And we walk away. And one of the things we talk about in Access is that humanoids don't fail. They just quit before they succeed. And Dr. Dane here always says, take 2 more steps. So when everything feels like it's falling apart or it's not working or it's not creating what you'd like to create, if you would just take 2 more steps and keep going, you can get there. And sometimes it really is 2 more steps and it's quick. And sometimes those 2 more steps might take, 2 more years. But it's continuing to never give up, never give in, and never quit and that you will get to whatever it is that you'd like to get to. But the minute you give up on yourself, it's all done, because it's like you stop. And so it's like when you stop in your tracks and you're like, well, I'm not as good as everybody else, or I'm not succeeding the way other people are succeeding, or I see other people around me getting it right, and therefore I'm wrong. And then you stop, there's nothing else. So where have you given up on yourself? Everything that is times a godzillion. Can we destroy it and create it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you've never heard that before, that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. And you can go to theclearingstatement.com. But basically what, like if you'd like more information on all of that, but like what that is like we pull up the energy of anything and we use the clearing statement to just sort of blast all of the energy out of existence so that we have a different choice available. So anywhere up till right now in this moment as you're listening, whether it's right now live with me or in the future, where you've decided that it's too hard, you can't, and you'll never succeed, and therefore you're shutting down all possibilities, can we destroy and uncreate that? Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And what would be truly possible if you would be willing to put in the action steps to create what you'd like to create? And I purposefully don't use the word work, even though it sort of like comes in there, but most of us have this negative connotation with work, as though this is like, put in the work is like this negative, heavy, shitty energy of like, I just, it's work. It's like your whole life, your parents probably said, oh, I gotta go to work. You hear anybody be like, oh, you gotta put in the work. You think about school work. Like, work just has this really negative connotation in your world. So, at least in my world. So, everything that you've misidentified and misapplied as work, first of all, can we destroy and create that? Wow. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you replaced it with action, what action can I take today that would create the life I'm truly asking for right away? Great question to ask. So every day, whether it's in starting a new activity, I don't know, like a new hobby, you start horseback riding, you start painting, you start kind of doing anything that's new for you, it's gonna be hard when you start because you're not used to it. Your body's not used to it. Your mind isn't used to it. Like doing what is required and moving your body a certain way, or whether it's starting a new business or starting doing Facebook Lives. People talk to me a lot about like when they're wanting to put themselves out there more and actually like talking live on Facebook. I mean, it's these little things that it's like it's not going to be perfect or right or exactly what you want it to be right away. It's all a muscle memory. So, and being willing to fuck it up, being willing to put yourself out there and miss the shot, being willing to, fall on your ass, like whatever it is, and laugh at yourself and keep going. So really looking at like, what are the action steps that are required for me to blank? So whatever it is that you're asking for, look at like, okay, first of all, where have I decided I can't is the first thing. Because clear all your projections, expectations, separations, rejections, judgments around like all the places that you've decided that you suck, you can't, you'll never get it, and clear all of that stuff. And so when I say clear that, at least in the Access Consciousness, using the tools of Access Consciousness, we would just say like, okay, all of that is all my projections, expectations, separations, rejections, judgments around this, all the decisions, computations that I've made here, destroy and uncreate all those. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew. Put your barriers down and then get really present and look at like, okay, what can I do? What action can I take today that would lead me towards the greatness, the creation, the possibility that I'm truly asking for? And just don't go into the computation of it. Don't go into the like, well, I could do this and I could do this and I could do this. Like, stop. Barriers down, breathe, and just ask the question and allow the awareness to come. And it may make total sense. Like, I need to go outside and practice, for my 8-year-old child. Yeah, you want to get better at basketball? You need to practice a lot. You need to go outside and freeze your ass off, because it's 20 degrees here right now, and bundle up and be throwing the ball in the hoop. I mean, that is one of the things to get better and better. But it may also be take time to yourself and read. look into different things about basketball that, gives you more on form and structure. Something else you can do with whatever you're doing, which may be a little crazy compared to some of the other things I've just said, is ask what your body knows about whatever it is you're asking for from all past lifetimes. And ask your body, like, hey, what? Okay, are we still good? It looked like it shut off for a minute. I think we're okay. Okay, cool. I hope we're still recording. But be willing to pull in like everything your body knows and everything your being knows from all your experience in the universe, basically. And ask for that all to show up, because we have so much muscle memory from so many different lifetimes, experiences, and we can also, because we are psychic beings, we also use this "who does this belong to" tool all the time when we're feeling crappy and we're like, oh, who does this belong to? But also be aware that you can pull in energies from other people that already have the thing that you're asking for. So if you're working on having a successful business, you can ask, like, hey, what would it take to have that energy and that ease that this person has with business? And actually be willing to have that. Now, you don't have to take on all of their other stuff. You just take on what they know about business and like the energy that they are with business. It doesn't mean you have to be them or take on everything else that they have going on, but you can ask for that too. So really be willing to like be present with whatever shows up. It might be, hey, watch this movie on Netflix, which maybe doesn't make any sense, but there might be some gem in that movie that's going to propel you forward with what you're asking for. It may be, for me, it's often for going for a walk in the woods. I think I was talking about that last week. And, just clearing my head of all the, like, everybody else's crap and actually, like, getting present with me again. So, but be willing to ask, what action can I take today that would create what I'm asking for? And every day ask that. Pull down your walls and barriers, destroy and uncreate all the stuff that's in the way, destroy and uncreate your relationship with the sport, the business, the activity, whatever it is you're doing, and start fresh and ask today, what action can I take today that would create the future that I'm asking for right away? So everything that doesn't allow that, and everything that doesn't allow you to know what you know and be willing to be that, you're just trying to create that. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Cool. Wow, I'm so curious what 2022 will bring. I know the last few years have been really interesting, and I don't know, things are moving and changing constantly. So I'm so curious what this year will bring, and what can we be now as we go into 2022? What can we be that's different? Where can we embrace the difference of us and bring that into the future that we'd like to have with whatever we'd like to create? But if we give up on ourselves, if we stop, if we decide we can't, if we decide it's too hard and bury our head in the sand, we've got nothing. So be willing to look into the future and ask, like, okay, what can I be today to create the future I'd like to have right away? And when you look into the future, look into, the next year, the next 5 years, but also look into the next 500 years and the next 10,000 years. Because what you are creating with every choice you make, every action you take, is creating something for the future that we don't have a sense of right now, but you can get the energy of it, and be willing to know that whatever you're doing today isn't pointless, it doesn't just stop at the end of your life. Everything you're doing creates into the future. So if you're willing to have that and see that and know that and be that, then something else can truly be possible, and you can be a part of that. And you are, no matter what, whether you like it or not. So whether we're willing to acknowledge that every action we take creates a future, it does. It creates a future. So what future would you like to create, and what actions can you take towards that? All right, I think that's all. If you're following me in the money party, we start day 3 in 10 minutes on our Asking for Greater challenge. Let's see if my voice will at least carry me through that. And man, what would it take to have this cold thing go away so I could talk properly again? All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. And I will be live again next week here with Musings with Melissa at 9:30 Central Standard Time in this Dr. Melissa Mann CF page. And come join me in the money party. I will see you soon. Bye.